but that's not a national best-selling book.
Yeah.
So you don't want to.
Unless Oprah endorses.
Yeah,
okay.
Oprah's like,
Right.
this unique place.
Yeah.
No, it could be the book of the month, but
Yeah.
that's too small of a niche.
Yeah.
That's
So
just the point.
just be careful with that. And listen, if you just want to write a book because it's something that's in you and you just want to get it out, then that's fine. You can write something like that. But if you want it to be marketable, you want people to buy it, then just stay away from, too small niches.
Right.
Now, what's considered a great niche is if it has like 200,000 potential audience. You can, kind of look that up. Hobbies, club organizations, special subjects, jewelry making, and train modeling. Yeah, I put that in for you. So my husband models trains, and he's been collecting trains since he was about 5. So he's 40 now, so about 35 years. So my whole garage is filled with trains. Now, granted, I don't know anybody else that likes trains, right? However, he has these train shows, and when we go, it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people at these train shows every year. So if he wanted to write a book on how to model trains, you and I may not be interested, but he can go to, these places where these hundreds of thousands of people are there. I used to make jewelry, handcraft jewelry and stuff like that. So that's also, one of those areas that everybody's not interested in, but it's a niche that's big enough that you could actually market a book. Yeah. So, what about your niche? You don't have a niche?
My niche is women. I love
Her niche is women.
Love women and college girls and.
Any questions about niches, people?
Fiction. So we talk about my favorite part. So I think I have another activity, guys.
Yeah,
We don't want to do all the talking. We want to hear from you guys because you came because either you want to start a business, write a book, or do both. And we want to hear what you guys have to say or whatever. So, one of the what I wanted to do as far as fiction, the category of fiction, is kind of break it down into the most popular fiction genres. So, my book, Corporate Chicks, would definitely be considered commercial fiction or women's fiction. And there's just certain things that you need to know when it comes to fiction books. I'm not going to stay too much into this because I'm not sure exactly where you guys are, if you're writing nonfiction or fiction. Okay. But women's fiction, you have to know from the get-go, it has to be 300 pages or more in order to be considered women's fiction. If you decide to go the self-publishing route with Synovia, you can get away with the book not being that many pages, but if you decide to go the traditional route of getting an agent and then having the agent actually represent you to traditional publishing companies, you're going to have to meet certain criteria. You're going to have to write a query letter. Query letter is just basically a summary of your book. You sell it or you send it to the agent, and then the agent actually is like, oh, this is a good story. It's going to sell. We can turn this into a movie. We can turn this in. Because, see, I eventually wanted to touch 3 of the 5 senses. Audio, I wanted it to be tangible, and then I wanted people to be able to actually see it. So eventually I want to see Corporate Chicks on TV one day. I dream big, guys. I just do. I dream big. So I knew I wanted it to be commercial because it has to sell. So whenever you're choosing your genre, you need to research and figure out which books is selling. So, young adult. What is a young adult book? What would you consider a young adult book? And I'll tell you if it was actually turned into a TV show or a movie.
Well, I know all the young adults, so Sweet Valley High.
Sweet Valley High.
Babysitter's Club.
Babysitter's Club. I used to read those books. Young adult. The Twilight series.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling was a struggling.
Yeah.
I'm talking about struggling author in London, riding the train, and just got inspired to write. And we talked about this when we was going through our run through. Just decided she had been rejected by over 100 publishing companies. She was like, I'm not supposed to do this, and she had to wait, and she had to recreate, and she had to. That's why I wait a lot too, because you never know where your inspiration is going to come from. She was on the train. She thought of this idea to create a little boy that was a magician, and then it took off. And then she represented it, and now Harry Potter, she is like one of the biggest authors in the entire world. International. Another young adult, the Invergent and Divergent series. I'm not sure.
I love that.
That was a book. It was a series.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I never knew that.
The Divergent. Yes, series. Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Great series. You see, it's number 1.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Diary of the Wimpy Kid. My favorite. I would say this is number 2.
50 Shades of Grey.
Well, 50 Shades of Grey is more of
More fantasy, right?
No, fantasy. Well, no. 50 Shades of Grey would probably be considered women's fiction or commercial.
No, it's women's fiction.
It's women's
It's
fiction.
women's fiction. Yeah.
Fantasy is Game of Thrones,
Yes.
guys. Game of Thrones. That's fantasy writing.
You see what my head at when you think about fantasy,
Woman's fiction.
Titus. We fantasizes about that.
Because I read 50 Shades of Grey when it first.
I never read it.
It's a good
You
book.
just saw the movie?
Never even saw the movie.
The movie and the book.
I'm not big.
The movie is not good.
I'm not big on reading about that. You know, for some reason, like if you get too erotica, I'm just, I don't know. My mind, I don't know.
But fantasy is not that.
Right.
Fantasy is the Lord of the Rings.
I didn't dream about it. That's not what I envisioned.
What's the wardrobe and the lion and
the witch hunters,
the Narnia Chronicles. That's fantasy. Literary fiction is books that were written by like Emily Dickinson and Edgar Allan Poe and you have to be like English majors and stuff. So writing fiction, it goes into all these different genres. But as you can see, these are the top 10, and you probably want to try to stick to writing something within this if you're writing fiction. Because with fiction, you can actually turn it into a movie or a television show. So that's basically the fiction. And another thing about fiction, you have to be very, 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 very descriptive. You have to write a lot of adjectives. You have to be able to describe the person down to a T. She was 5'2", she had long hair, she had almond-shaped eyes, her hair glistened in the sun, like to fill the book and get the reader to understand how that person looks.
You have a picture in your head. By the time you're done, you know exactly how
you
she
know
looks in your head.
exactly. So look, I was telling Zenobia with the fiction book, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Tay Diggs was not who I imagined as the love interest.
Me either. He was not short.
He was not short. He was not dark skinned. He was tall and
Caribbean looking.
Yes.
You're thinking this pretty hair because he's in Jamaica, you know? So
and that Jamaican accent was awful.
Yes.
But ready to excel, that encompassed that book.
Yeah.
The Help. Did you guys see that movie?
Yeah.
I read that book in 2 days.
Yeah.
First.
Let me tell you something.
We read that book around the same time.
Yes. Yeah. She was like, "You finished yet?" I was like, "Girl, I'm almost done."
Yeah.
And the lady who served.
And I think you said in my book too.
The lady who served the nasty pie, she looked exactly how I imagined her. So when you're writing fiction, you have to be descriptive, you have to be detailed, you have to fill those pages with how the people look, the environment. If it's winter, fall, spring, summer, you just have to do all that with fiction writing, and these are the top 10.
Okay, so step 4 is creating an outline. With fiction, you can create chapters. This is a quick little, I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? Okay. This is a quick little formula I created. You can do like 10 to 15 topics, then you can turn those topics into subtopics and write from there. Now, me myself, I'm a all over the place writer, so I like to create outlines, but I'm not going to necessarily write from A to Z. So when I do my A to Z books, I may know what A is, and I might not know what B, C, D, like those may not come to me until I'm in the shower. I do yoga and stuff like that, and so, you know, sometimes things will come to me, so I'm not one of those people that can write. However, you need an outline so you'll know exactly where you're going. Brenda, when I first started working with her, she explained to me that she actually wrote the ending of her book before she wrote the middle of her book. So she know how she wanted her book to end, right? She knew how she wanted it to end. Now she didn't know what was going to be in the middle of it, but that's kind of how she wrote. So just, you know, when you're starting the writing process, just create some sort of outline. You may not stick to it, but